that I have Gulf War syndrome, I have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Sometimes if a person has a traumatic experience,
it could be some massive traumatic experience that happens.
If you bring someone out of a traumatic...
Ship running from second squad. Traumatic cranial contusion. I couldn't ventilate.
My guess is that your experiences in the fire department were extremely traumatic.
It might be, how would you say, traumatic?
Well, it was a traumatic experience, I can tell you.
I think it's fine, but I also think it's traumatic.
I've had over a dozen years of experts telling me that I have Gulf War syndrome, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and every other mood disorder that you can name.
I don't know. Sometimes if a person has a traumatic experience, their hair turns white.
Discovering some work of art. It could be some massive traumatic experience that happens. It could be some tiny moment.
Why it is important,
excuse me,
is if you bring someone out of a traumatic event back to the present time, no matter
Sit together, you hear me? Speedy. Oop. Ship running from second squad. Traumatic cranial contusion. I couldn't ventilate.
Brother Jones got blown to shit, man.
Who's Jones? The FNG.
With you that has anything to do with your symptoms. Now, my guess is that your experiences in the fire department were extremely traumatic. You experienced the imminent possibility of death.
Subject you to such an experience, it might be, how would you say, traumatic.
Now, that's silly.
It was very difficult. You see, at that time, my career was at its height.
Well, it was a traumatic experience, I can tell you. You know, it's no joke being the illegitimate daughter of Mata.
Stop. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. But I also think it's traumatic. You've got the pressure of...
Bizarre and highly controversial press conference. Some claim he's suffering from post-traumatic stress and has been bedridden for weeks. Whatever the case.
Why isn't it our business? They're our closest friends.
You're looking for one little answer. There is no one traumatic event. You know that. People grow apart. It's a lot of...
Method of hijacking the hippocampus to clear traumatic memories.
Police wouldn't let us go down to the morgue and identify the body. They said it would be too traumatic.
But I just couldn't bear this.
It's hygienically sound. Must have been quite traumatic at the time. No wonder he submerged the memory.
I am sorry, but the plasma separation is a very traumatic process to the body. Our policy clearly prohibits...
About seeing things which aren't there.
Actually, in traumatic situations, it's not at all uncommon. Your subconscious mind or an image.
I have truth, but look, it's not a pretty sight, man.
Sir, I have helped policemen through some of the most traumatic moments of their lives. Believe me, there is nothing in this room that I cannot handle.
Years, he didn't even remember me.
Well, offhand, that sounds like post-traumatic stress disorder. Maybe worse.
Yeah.
I couldn't really know without seeing him.
It was that bad. He could have left the car.
Right, yeah. So is it quite traumatic for you being back here with the turtles?
This is kind of like therapy for me.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meeting the...
His heart rate that I would normally see with somebody who's talking about a traumatic experience.
Once one of those guys came.
Aw, man, I'm just getting some water, yo. This suit is crazy hot.
Put your head back on. You nuts? That can be very traumatic for these kids.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, sir.
Don't sorry me, baby.
That's doubtful. You just had a major traumatic surgery.
I won't go in a wheelchair.
Then you're not leaving the house.
My clothes were ripped. It was traumatic for him.
I saw a dead guy. I think I'm having post-traumatic stress. Can I meet you for lunch? All right, see you.
Meningitis, became deaf, and suffered a traumatic speech loss.
No, don't you worry about it, Mr. Walton. Clearly, he's had a traumatic childhood, and thank you.
The survivors of the plane crash.
Plane crash?
Listen carefully. I deal in post-traumatic stress and survival guilt. Maybe I should talk to someone who knows what's going on.
Talk to the ship.
By the time Terry Long committed suicide, his brain had been consumed by chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
And it is probable, perhaps even likely.
Do you think you might have, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder?
No.
awful vividness of what I had experienced gradually, very gradually, grew less and less traumatic. It helped having a boyfriend who was